Hi, welcome to Cloud9 Yoga. I'm Claudia and it's a pleasure to be practicing this yoga class with you today. For today's class, you will need blocks, just because we're going to go back to basics. We're going to go back and revisit some of the poses that are frequently exercised or practiced in yoga classes in studios around the world. We're going to practice those poses and we're going to take a little bit more time reevaluating and focusing as if we were just beginning, or maybe you are just beginning your yoga journey. So get those blocks handy and we're going to start seated today. And I'm going to put my sit bones on the block. The reason for that is when you are a beginner, your hip flexors are a little tight. There's certain common limitations that you will visit or you will experience when you are new to yoga practice. And one of the limitations are your hip flexors, especially if you have a job that requires you to be sat down for long periods of time. These front of the hip, they tend to be in a shortened position, they're weak, and they're not necessarily at the length that allows us to lengthen the back. So by allowing the knees to be lower than the hips, we're taking away some of the tension that would have us rounding in the lower back. So put your sit bones on the block or a blanket and allow yourself to stack the head over the shoulders and the shoulders over the ribs and the ribs over the pelvis. In this position, take a deep breath in through the nose, and if it's comfortable, close your eyes. Arriving on the mat, so frequently said in yoga practices, and yet what does it really mean to you? What does it mean to you today? It might mean something else and any other different day. So what does it mean today to arrive right here and right now? What are you unpacking? What are you working with? Allow your attention to tune into the breath and notice the quality of it. How full is it? How even, equal? And if you do practice with me often, and if you do practice with me in person, you know I always ask you to take full and full and full exhale. So let's practice 3 of those now. Smooth and soft and calm. Inhale through the nose, and then exhale, open your mouth and gently sigh it out. All of it out until you feel the rib cage hugging in, full, out, without panic in here. That inhale, really calm. No panic, no certain level of hesitation or hunger, just calm. Exhale through the mouth, sighing it out gently, really full. Feel the obliques hugging in before the core comes in. Smooth inhale through the nose. Last one like that. Open your mouth. Not forcefully, just fully. Come back to natural breath. To begin with, we're going to move our spine in all of its directions. So bring your arms up and over to the sky, interlace your fingers and flip your palms up. Now, if this is really hard, feel free to have those elbows softly bent, but have that quality of lifting upwards from the armpits up. Maybe look up as you exhale, round the spine, bring the palms in front of you and bring the ears in between the shoulders, between the arms. Inhale, lift up, look up. Remember, elbows can be softly bent, but you're still reaching through the side body. Exhale, round, bring it in front of you. Bring the belly button towards the spine and really round. Inhale, lift up. This time, exhale, cactus the arms, pinkies forward, thumbs back. Look up. Take a breath in here. Exhale, bring the elbows and wrists to meet in front of you. Inhale, open up. Look up. Exhale, squeeze it in front of you. Keep those elbows nice and high. Inhale, look up, open, exhale, belly button to spine, bring the elbows and wrists to meet. Inhale, open up, exhale, release the hands towards the floor. Bring the right hand behind you, left hand to the right knee. Let's twist. Take a deep breath in, lengthen from the sit bones to the crown of the head as you exhale. Turn to the right. Let's do this 2 more times. As you inhale, see if you can fill in the belly. It will be harder for you to breathe into the top of the chest as you twist. Exhale, bring the belly button to spine. See if you can twist deeper. This time, inhale and send that breath in to the left side of the rib cage. As you exhale, exhale from the right and maybe twist deeper, relaxing the shoulders, taking the back of the head further back. Come back to center. Let's do the same thing to the opposite direction. Left hand comes behind you, right hand to the left knee, lengthen from the sit bone to the crown of the head. Exhale, twist. Try and stop yourself from lifting the shoulders up, just gently twisting. Breathing into the belly, breathing out, maybe twisting deeper. Try and avoid pulling yourself with your hands. Use them more for support or leverage. Breathing into the right side of the rib cage, breathing out from the left. Come back to center. And just final movement of the spine. Let's take a couple of side body stretches. Lift the arms one more time, interlace. If this is too much, have the arms reaching towards the sky open. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. Reach from the right arm up towards the sky and reach through the left arm to the sky. Now, if your hands are interlaced, the left hand pushes into the right hand resists. If they're not, just imagine you're doing this, or grab hold of the block and with the left hand push the block down, with the right hand resist. Come back to center, revisit and go to the opposite direction. Left hand pushes up, right hand pushes down. And come back to center. Beautiful. Come into all fours. And in all fours, we're going to take a couple of moments in a gentle tail wag. So I like to do this by dropping the right hip to the right, looking over the left shoulder at the left knee, left foot. When you do this, see if you can make sure that the arms are straight. So the elbows aren't bent. You're pushing the floor with the right hand. Nice. Come back to center. Do the same the opposite direction, dropping the hips to the left. Look over to the right foot. One more time, pushing through that left hand this time. Right arm is still straight. Come back to center. This time, just that little bit less of a movement. Bring that right hip to the right armpit. Breathe into the left side. Come back through center. Left hip to the left armpit. And come back to center. Tuck your toes under. Send your hips up and away and take a little stretch through this version of child's pose. Take a breath in, pressing the palms down. And then untucking the toes, take a child's pose. Remembering always you can take this pose whenever things just get a little too hairy. Throughout the practice, this is your go-to pose. It's nice to have a pose like this in our yoga practice. It'd be nice to have a pose like this in life. Come back to center. Tuck your toes under and take your first downward facing dog of the practice. If this is the first downward facing dog in your entire life, allow yourself to adopt this kind of V-shaped position. Another limitation that's common in new yoga practitioners are the back of the legs, so your hamstrings. The hamstrings go all the way past the knee and past the hip. They're attached to the sit bones and go all the way through the back there, finishing just below the knee. So they are tight. So allow yourself to bend the knees first and maybe even take your feet as wide as the mat. That might be easier for you if you're new. Or if you're not new, try that, see how that feels. In fact, let's stay there. Bending your knees, lift the sit bones up to the sky and straighten the spine.
So if I was to focus on straight legs, I might introduce some rounding in the spine. I don't want that. I want the spine to lengthen. So bend your knees, take the belly towards the thighs. Keep your arms nice and straight. Now from here, without the actual intention of lengthening or straightening the legs, just make the heels a little heavier. That's the one. One more breath. And then shift to plank or half plank, always an option. Bringing your feet hip distance apart, pushing the arms into the floor. Common things we tend to do here is letting the legs collapse, hips collapse. My lower back is not going to like this for much, so lift the hips, bring the belly button to spine, push the floor with the hands, pressing the fingertips into the floor, lower the knees down, shift forward, keeping the elbows close to the body, come all the way down to the ground for your first cobra. Untuck your toes. Press the toes to the top of the mat, squeeze the elbows in, roll the shoulders, open the heart, cobra. Lift your kneecaps to engage your quads, squeeze your glutes gently. Exhale, relax. Inhale to all fours. Exhale to down dog. We're going to move a couple of times in this manner with our breath. So shift forward to plank or half plank, inhale. Exhale, lower the knees, shift forward, squeeze the elbows, lower it down to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Take a breath in here. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time focusing on your hands, press all 10 fingertips down. Keep the elbows straight. Wrap those triceps around you as if you're trying to turn the armpits towards one another. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale, plank. Always feel free to lower the knees. Exhale, knees down. Baby chaturanga. Down to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale in your child's pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. One last time. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, knees down, travel down. Elbows squeeze in. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Take a moment in here, noticing how does your breath feel? How does your body feel? Allowing yourself to exercise patience. Sometimes if you're a seasoned practitioner, you found yourself taking this class, taking that step back can be really beneficial for us. Revisiting what it was all about that got you hooked, or got you interested, or got you sticking with yoga. Inhale into all fours. Exhale into downward facing dog. Walk your hands from here to your feet. Really beginning gently. As you come to the back end of the mat, allowing yourself to grab hold of the opposite elbows. Crown of the head is heavy, just dangling in here for a moment. Let those knees be really soft. What I frequently see in beginners is that we get so hooked on having the legs straight and then we hinging from our lower back in this. So soften those knees, lengthen the belly towards the thighs and take your sit bones up to the sky. With your feet, create the actions of pulling apart. So the left foot pulls to the left, the right foot pulls to the right, creating extra space through the lower back. Shake your head yes and no. Relax the hands, they can touch the floor or the shins. And then come into a halfway lift. What we will do today is we'll bring the hands right above the knees, pushing the torso away from the thighs. Keep those knees slightly soft. Squeeze the elbows close to the body. Lengthen the crown of the head towards the front edge of the mat. Exhale, soften and bow. Feet pull apart. Bring your hands to your hips. Rise up with flat back. Fantastic. From the top of the mat, we're going to come down the way we came in, but let's take a chair pose first. So bringing your feet hip distance apart, sweep your arms forward and up, chair pose. Imagine you sitting on a chair. Sink your hips nice and low. Take the weight towards the heels. You should be able to see your toes. First pose that we can troubleshoot here today is our chair, making sure that the knees do not spill out or in, but they're parallel like two train tracks with the toes. I like to lift from the hip bones to the ribs and lower from the ribs to the hips, just because naturally I would poke the tailbone out. But notice if you are already rounding in there, perhaps too much, and then just take that tailbone into its neutral alignment. Exhale, lower down, forward fold. Inhale into your halfway lift, hands right above those knees, elbows in, core in. Exhale, fold it down, walk your hands back to that downward facing dog. Lower the knees. This time, elongate the right leg and allow yourself to take a few moments here to like a seesaw back and forth. Notice if you've collapsed in that left hip, taking that left and right hip in one line. Let's lift the right leg off of the sky, coming to neutral alignment. And then bring that right knee to nose as close as you can, squeezing it all very high, pushing the floor, elbows are straight. Then step the right foot between the hands, and if it got stuck, help yourself with that right hand. Inhale, broaden the collarbones forward. As you exhale, take it to a half split. So we're going to walk that left knee slightly further back and then take the hips directly over the left knee. Coming into the half splits, we're straightening that front leg, right leg. We're allowing ourselves to pull from that right pinky toe side. Take a deep breath in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower slightly deeper. Take a moment here to feel the stretch through the back of the leg. One more time, focusing on those hamstrings. Another limitation. Come back to the top of the mat. Tuck the back toes under. Lift the back knee off of the mat. Runner's lunge or low lunge. Take a moment in here, looking forward, broadening the collarbones up. Plant the left hand to the floor. And reach the right arm up to the sky. As we take that right arm to the sky, what tends to happen is the right outer hip tends to lift up. So see if you can press the right foot to the floor like you're making an imprint, and then drag that right outer hip slightly down and back. One more deep breath, look towards your left, right thumb, and exhale, release the right hand down, step it back, all fours. We're going to take our first vinyasa, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. We're going to stick, well, it's not our first one though, is it? We're going to stick to that version that we've already practiced. So shift forward to plank. Lower the knees, lower down, half chaturanga, all the way to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, relax. Stay here. Allow me to introduce you to my favorite version of cobra. Taking the hands just off of the mat, doming the palms, fingertips touch the ground, elbows lift. As you inhale, snake yourself up. I like this because it feels really stretchy on my belly. Exhale, lower down. Only go as high as it feels good for you. Inhale, roll yourself up, taking the chest, the ribs, the belly up, lifting through the kneecaps. Exhale, lower down. One last time, inhale, roll up. And exhale, release. Come into all fours on your inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Wonderful. Let's do the same thing on the left side. So come into all fours, inhale. Elongate that left leg. couple of times, just seesaw yourself through. What I want you to focus or pay attention to here is the back of the left leg, obviously, but also your wrists. If they hurt, you can always come to fists. Or if you still have your blocks handy, you can put the blocks underneath the hands, which will elevate you slightly, but also change alignment of the wrist. Fantastic. Lift the left leg in line with the hip. When we do that, try to make sure you don't collapse in that lower belly. Hug it in. Exhale, knee to nose, round it up, bring it close, 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 squeeze it high, then step it between the hands. One more time, use your left hand to help yourself out here. Runner's lunge, lift off, take a moment in here, broadening the collarbones, just getting used to this alignment, then lower the back knee, take it slightly further back. Shift the hips over the back knee, lift the left toes off of the mat, lengthen through the spine, exhale, soften and bow. Personally, I tend to hyperextend in my legs. So it takes a lot of effort for me to actually engage those muscles rather than just lengthen them fully and just let them collapse. That isn't too comfortable for me, so I like to keep that soft bend and dig that left heel into the mat. Now I know that the hamstrings are also working as they're lengthening. Then pull the left pinky toe side up, lengthen through the spine and fold a little bit deeper. See if you can pull the belly away from the front thigh. Come back to low lunge, to runner's lunge, lifting the back heel off, the back knee off of the mat, plant the right hand onto the mat, lift the left arm up. And again, try and stop yourself from hoinking that left hip up, plant it back and down. Press the left foot into the ground, reaching through the left fingertips. Pull the belly away from the left thigh. Energize the right leg. Exhale, release the left hand down. Step it back, downward facing dog. Shift forward to plank. Lower the knees, keep the elbows hugging in, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale into cobra, elbows in, kneecaps lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can always keep the knees down as you transition. Fantastic. This time, let's lift the right leg up to the sky. And as we exhale, bring the right foot between the hands. Now, if you're a beginner, the chances are it will land somewhere there. Use the right hand, bring the right foot closer. Keep the back knee lifted, and then shimmy the right foot a little bit to the right. The train tracks will allow you to keep more stability. Inhale, reach up through the arms, crescent lunge. Nice. Now this time bring your hands in front of you and let's bring the left arm under the right, and if you can, wrap it up to eagle arms. If you can't, bring the elbows and wrists together like we did at the beginning of the class. Another common limitation if we start yoga practice are our shoulders. So breathe into the back body. Exhale, keep the elbows lifted. Lengthen through the front of the body. Tailbone is long, belly lifts up. Nice and soft, unravel the arms. Frame the front foot. Step it back, downward facing dog. Same thing other side. Left leg lifts. Bring it in between the hands, squeezing it close to the chest. Let it land where it lands comfortably. Use your left hand. Take that left foot slightly further to the left. Inhale, reach up, crescent. Whoop. Finding your balance. One more time, eagle arms, arms forward. Right arm under the left. Or one more time, just letting those elbows squeeze in. Taking a deep breath in here. Lifting the elbows away from the face. Fantastic. Unravel frame the front foot. Step the right foot to meet the left, back into our forward fold. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften and bow. Inhale, take a chair pose. As you take your chair pose, your feet are hip distance apart. We're going to take the right hand to the left thigh, right elbow to the right knee. Windmill that left arm, reach it up to the sky. Let that left hip move slightly back this time. Take one more breath, twisting. Exhale, unravel, come back to chair pose. Same thing other side, left hand to the right thigh, left elbow to the left knee, twist to the right. Broaden the collarbones, sit nice and low, send the weight to the heels. One more breath, windmill the arms, chair pose. Exhale, Tadasana. Wonderful. Now you should feel a little bit warmer. Let's take it through the sun salute and come into a warrior two. Inhale, reach through the arms, lengthen through the ring fingers. Exhale, arms forward and down, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, step it back to plank. You might need to take more than one step, and that's fine. Take a breath in plank or half plank. Exhale, lower the knees, float it down. Inhale, cobra, bhujangasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ooh. Fantastic. You can always lower the opposite knee if the transition to bring the leg between the palms is too much. Right leg lifts otherwise. Bring the right foot between the hands. Now before we come into warrior two, bring the right foot in the center of the mat. Lower the left heel. I want you to align the heel of the right foot with the arch of the foot of the left foot. Before you rise up, take the right outer hip back. And then windmill the left arm, take the right arm with you, and come into a warrior two. As you come into warrior two, I want you to look at the left foot. Make sure the left pinky toe side touches the ground. Squeeze the left glute. Fantastic. Maybe even lift the left big toe. Then place it back down. Then look at your right foot. Make sure you see the big and second toe. Taking that right knee slightly further to the right. Right knee over the right ankle. If it's too hard, bring the left foot closer. If you don't feel anything, bring the left foot further. From this position, take one more deep breath. We're going to take a dancing warrior. Bring the left hand to the left hip, flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach that right arm up and over. As you do that, sink into that right leg deeper. There's a tendency of kind of forgetting where we came from and straining the leg. One straight line from that right hip crease to the right fingertips. As you exhale, bring the right forearm to the right thigh. Don't forget to breathe here. Now, before we do anything else, I want you to really focus on this forearm to thigh connection. We tend to collapse here. See if you can press the forearm and blossom up. Left hand to the right rib cage, turn the ribs towards the front of the room. Then you can stay here, or you can take the left hand up towards the sky. Press through that left knife edge of the foot. Option 3, bring the left hand over the head. Press the right foot into the mat. One more deep breath. As you exhale, bring the left hand down, frame the front foot, lift the left heel to the ball of the foot, step it back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, full breath out. Always feel free to take child's pose if those down dogs get a little much. One more time, focusing on your alignment, taking the hips up, pressing the feet and arms into the floor. Left side, left leg lifts. Bring the left foot between the hands. Don't be shy, wherever it lands, let it land. Take a moment in here. We're going to go in for warrior two. So bring that left foot to the center of the mat. Plant the right heel down. Before you rise up, check your alignment. Heel to the arch of the back foot. Sweep that right arm forward, up and back as you rise up to warrior two. Arms are like a shape of a T. Palms face down, shoulders squeeze together. Look back at your right foot. Press the knife edge down. Squeeze that right glute. Lift the right big toe. Plant it back down. Turn your head. Look at the front leg. Look at the big toe, second toe. Loosen up the toes. Squeeze the shoulders. Take a moment to feel the pose. Right hand, right hip, left palm flips up. Inhale, open up. From the hip crease to the left fingertips. Lengthen. Melt that left knee deeper. Exhale, bring the left forearm to the left thigh. Press it into that thigh. Don't let yourself collapse. Take the right hand to the left rib cage. Blossom to the right. Right arm can stay on the hip, can go up diagonally or over the right ear. See if you can sink the hips lower. One more breath. Full exhale. Everything's working. Bring the hands down. Frame the front foot. Step it back. Down dog. Optional vinyasa or child's pose. Inhale to plank if you're flowing with me. Exhale, knees down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Letting yourself find the breath. Breathing calmly and exhaling fully. Fully. Fantastic. We're just going to stretch it out before we do some triangle work. So come up into all fours. Option one, take your arms further forward. Option two, take your knees further back. Whichever direction you take, I want you to take yourself into what's called a puppy pose. Sink your torso towards the ground. If you're new to yoga, take your hands really wide and then notice how much easier it is. See if you can keep your hips directly over your knees and then hugging through the lower ribs. Turn the biceps, the triceps around. Armpits go round towards the ground. Towards the ground. Armpits roll towards the floor. There you go, that's better. One more deep breath. And then come back. It's called puppy pose or a half a down dog. Tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up, inhale. Exhale, step the right foot behind the right wrist. So it's a little bit shorter and a lot wider. Then plant your heel down. Your left foot is about 45-degree angle, if that, maybe even less. Allow yourself to press the feet into the ground, really focusing on this. And we're going to rise up to warrior one. So reaching through the arms, we're going to one more time press that front knee right directly over the front ankle. Lift your arms up. If it's too much for your shoulders, allow the arms to come forward. We're not going to be here for long, I promise. We're going to focus on those shoulders now. So sweep the arms behind you, interlace right thumb on top. Roll the shoulders together, squeeze the shoulders, lift the palms off of the mat, off of the back, and pull the knuckles towards the back end of the mat. The version of warrior one. As if any warrior, I want you to focus on your feet. Pressing the feet down, knife edge of the left foot down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold it forward, bringing the right shoulder inside the right knee. Lift from the armpits to the sky, but stay in a pose. Fantastic. This time, unravel the hands. Let the hands come towards the ground. If you have your block, bring the block towards the left hand. Middle or upper or lower setting, whichever one's easiest for you. Then straighten that front knee. We're going to take a twisted triangle pose. I like it from this stance because it allows me to have more balance. So wherever you are today, wherever the left hand is, see if you can take the right hand to the left rib cage and turn the ribs towards the right side. Then lift your arm, right arm to the sky. From here, I want you to focus on that right outer hip, pull it back, pull it down. Left outer hip pulls up and forward. One more breath into those collarbones. Exhale, frame the front foot, bend the front knee, bring the right hand in front of the right foot, step it back, down dog. Take a deep breath in here. Full breath out, same thing, left side. Left leg lifts up. Step the left foot behind the left wrist. If you need to shimmy it, do that. Then lower the right heel down, 45-degree angle. Front knee over the front ankle. Reach up, inhale, warrior one. Press through that knife edge of the back foot. If this is really, really easy and you're like, I'm not quite sure what am I supposed to feel here, see if you can lengthen the stance and feel the challenge of the pose. Squeeze the palms behind you, interlace this time, left thumb on top, lengthen through the elbows, squeeze the shoulders, lift the knuckles off of the bum, let them shine towards the back end of the mat. Take a deep breath into the front of the chest as you exhale, humble warrior one. Melt into the inside of the left hip. Common things I see here is that left hip goes to the left, pull it back to the midline. One more breath, lifting from the knuckles up. Relax the palms towards the ground. Now from here, bring the block one more time, unless of course you don't need it. Bring the right hand underneath the right shoulder, straighten the left leg, left hand to the right ribs, turn the ribs to the left, and then open the left hand to the sky. Pulling the left hip back and down, right hip up and forward, legs working hard. Exhale, melt it back down. Left hand in front of the left foot, step it back, downward facing dog. One more time, let's vinyasa down for cobra and stay on our bellies. Shift forward. Exhale, lower down, the knees down, chest down. Elbows hug the body. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, relax. Take a moment here to find your breath, to find your pace, to find your rhythm. We're going to practice locust pose. And I'm going to give you two options today. Option one would be to interlace the hands. Option one would be just to have the hands by the side of the body. So bring the hands by the side of the body. Thumbs go out, palms face to the ground. That would just allow for that shoulder to kind of have a little more opening than having the palms facing the ceiling. So option one will be here, just lifting up. Legs are straight, arms are straight, torso is long. Option two, interlace the knuckles, the fingers, and then take the knuckles towards the bottom edge of the mat. Broaden the collarbones, look forward, don't forget to breathe. Keep those legs straight, lift the legs higher, feeling the hamstrings work and open. Exhale, relax and release wherever you were. If you had interlace your hands, we're going to do the opposite interlace next time. If you had your hands by the side of the body, just repeat it one more time. Let's take one full exhale. As you inhale, lift up. Broadening the collarbones. If you interlace, just take the knuckles to the bottom edge of the mat. If you are here, lift through the fingers like lights towards the feet. The feet lift nice and high. The hamstrings are working. It doesn't matter how high you lift your torso, not today. Just keep it elevated. Focus on those legs and then relax and release as you exhale. Fantastic. Now let's flip the burgers. Roll yourself onto your back. When you come onto your back, bring the feet flat to the floor. And bring your hands by the side of the body. Letting the fingers to tickle the back of the feet. It's kind of the measure we tend to go by when we start. And then pressing the feet into the mat, pressing the hands into the mat. As you inhale, see if you can lift off the hips, the low back, mid back, upper back. Hug the shoulders under. If it's available to you, interlace the hands underneath, pinkies to the ground. If it's not, grab hold of the mat with the hands and lift the hips nice and high. If I hold the mat, I like to roll it underneath me so the top of the palms is flat on the floor. Press the feet down, lift the hips high. Don't forget to breathe in here, taking full exhales. One more inhale. And unravel the hands, unravel the shoulders. Relax one vertebra at a time. You can lift your heels to make it easier, more accessible. Relax for a moment. Let's try it one more time in a second. But for now, just feel the echo of the pose in your body and your breath. Let's do it one more time. Press the feet down, roll the back up. Either interlace or grab hold of the mat. If you have interlace this time, allow me to invite you to energize the arms a little bit. So if you're holding onto the mat with the palms, create the action as if they're trying to pull apart. And if you have interlaced the hands, create the action of wanting to pull and break free. So the right hand is pulling to the right, the left hand is pulling to the left, but nothing's actually breaking free. One more breath here. And then without pinging, relax the arms, shoulders flat, roll one vertebra at a time. Feel free to lift the heels. Then bring your feet as wide as the mat, knees together. And take a few deep breaths in here, calming down the stretching of the spine, the opening of the heart. Feel free to close your eyes. I like my left hand on my heart, my right hand on the belly. Elbows are heavy. And I'm allowing myself to tune into the breath. Something so subtle. Not that my breath is something I pay an awful lot of attention to in everyday living, but here in our yoga practice, we anchor our awareness onto it to make it the object of our curiosity, not the object of our judgment. Observing what happens when we move away from the thoughts in our mind, from the to-do lists and tasks, from the past events that have stimulated our mental landscape. And move all of this out of the way and bring the point of awareness on our breath.
It's called a practice because the idea is that in everyday life we can use some of the tools that we learn here. At times of stress, at times when our mind is sending us thoughts that inevitably aren't true, what we do is anchor the awareness to the breath, one breath at a time. Wonderful. Bring your knees together, feet together. Squeeze your knees into your chest. And then just roll either onto one side or rock and roll into seated, whichever one you prefer. Just to end the practice, we're going to take a little forward fold following by twist and shavasana. So the forward fold I want to start us with would have both feet together in front of us. And then let's bring that right foot to the inside of the left thigh. One more time, if this is really uncomfortable, feel free to sit on the block. The reason I like this for the beginning or for the beginners or for a practice when I'm just looking for easy and simple movements to reconnect with the breath is because when I just have one lever in front of me, it's so much easier to come into a forward fold. So turn into that gap between the legs. So we're not facing that long leg, not with me. Just turn in towards the space between the legs so we keep our pelvis and spine in one alignment. Let's lift through the arms up, lengthening through the fingers, lengthening from the side body. And as you exhale, see if you can actually bring your hands to your hips. And with the hands, hinge from the hips and come into a forward fold. When you feel that you're rounding through the spine, you feel that actually it's not coming from the spot in between the hips and the body, just bringing yourself into that little hinge, taking the tailbone slightly further back and bringing the belly button towards the ground. When you're ready, bring the hands towards the ground. If they don't touch the floor, the forearms don't touch the floor, you have the other block you can utilize, or you can just stay in your palms. With every breath, see if you can lengthen the spine. With every exhale, see if you can keep it straight and deepen your pose. Like a wave, inhale, lengthens, exhale, melts. Fantastic. One more breath in here. And as you exhale, come back up. Bring the hands by the side of the hips as you unravel from this pose, bringing both legs together first and then bringing the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Use your hands to begin with, just to get the correct alignment. Turn the hips, the pelvis and the spine in one line. And then bring your hands to the hips, lengthen through the spine. We're going to hinge from here. So lengthening from that edge and bottom of the spine, coming into that deep forward fold. When you're ready, again, you can use your block. Taking a breath in, lengthening the spine, exhale, lowering it down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. One more breath. Keeping those right toes flexed up. Come back up. Lovely. This time slide yourself off of the block. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Bring the right hand. Let's start with the left. Bring the left hand behind you and then reach through the right arm up. As you reach through the right arm up, then bring that right arm to the outside of the left thigh. I like my legs together, gives me more of a leverage. And then from here, I'm going to twist to the left. Broadening the collarbones, keep that right arm nice and straight. Exhale, twist. One more breath. And gently unravel.
Take a moment in here, lengthening through the spine. And let's do the same thing other direction. Right hand behind you, left arm lifts. Then bring that left arm nice and straight outside the right thigh and twist. Let those shoulders relax. Try and prevent yourself from letting them lift towards the ears. Let them relax, fold away. Bringing the left rib cage towards the right thigh. Come back to center. Take a moment in here to elongate. And then on your exhale, roll it back down. Whether you want to roll one vertebra at a time, you can do this, just giving your core a little fire up. Coming into a shavasana. If this idea of lying down at the end of an exercise is completely foreign to you, just remind yourself you're doing yoga. How many times during the day do you really get the opportunity to be told to lay down and do nothing and someone said you're actually exercising? So let go of that kind of thought and bring the awareness to the physical body this time. Ground the heels as wide as the mat, let the toes spill out. The legs are relaxed and heavy. If you need to windshield wipe the feet, windshield wipe the feet. Toes out, heels heavy, knees out, inner thighs shine to the sky. Bring your hands to the bony part of your hips and then just kind of rock them a little bit from side to side, loosening up the sit bones, the glutes, relaxing this little rock. Bring the hands by the side of the body, slightly further away than what feels natural, palms face up. Shoulders are heavy on the ground. Neck is long. Back of the head presses the back of the mat or the top of the mat. Close your eyes. And give yourself the permission to lay down here. The reality of life is that no matter what you have to do, no matter what tasks you have to do, those next 2 minutes will have minimal, if any, impact on the timekeeping. So knowing full well that you'll be able to recover those 2 minutes quite easily, give yourself the time to absorb the energy of the practice so far. Utterly relaxing your body. And if you do have more time to spend in your shavasana, if you feel as if this is the pose for you for today, stay here for as long as you want to. Letting the breath be natural and body heavy. However, if you feel that the time is right for you to come back and get on with the rest of the day, gently wiggle the fingers and the toes. Roll the back of the head against the mat. Rolling the wrists, the ankles. Zipping the legs together. Bring your arms up and over the head and give yourself a juicy stretch. Making one side of the body longer than the other. Personally, I like to bring my hands to my face and just give yourself a little rub around the eyebrow, the forehead, the cheekbones. Then bring your knees to your chest. Hug them in with your arms. Give yourself a loving hug. Maybe even lifting the head towards the knees, the nose towards the knees. And then rocking gently from side to side.
with no rush, no urgency. Your eyes can stay closed. You're doing all this knowing exactly the proximity of your body and what needs to move to achieve a certain shape, a certain sensation. When you're ready, roll onto one side of your body. I don't mind which side you choose. You won't be there long enough for it to have an impactful and meaningful impact on your day. When you get there, stay there and just notice how comfortable it is to be in this fetal position. Eventually, using the top arm to push the floor away from you, letting the head be last to rise and eyes to stay closed. Come and join me seated in the place where you have started the practice. And if you want to put that block underneath your hips, put a block underneath your hips. Stacking the head over heart and the heart over pelvis. Hugging the ribs. Bringing the hands to prayer. Lifting the heart towards the thumbs and relaxing shoulders away from ears. Bow your head down. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Namaste. And if you've enjoyed the class, please do leave me a comment below. If you'd like to see anything else added to the channel, let me know. Would love to hear from you. Always really enjoy reading those comments and your emails. See you again soon. Have a good day.